And as we are every week, I now get a chance to talk to our head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Coach, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on a successful non-conference schedule.
Thank you.
3-0. You come out of that. What is it that you know about your team now going into conference play that maybe you didn't know before you kicked off this season?
Well, I guess a lot. I mean, a quarter of the season's gone. I mean, we played 3 of the 12 games, and like you said in the opening, it's been fine. It's been good, and so many real bright spots, and just going to keep building on that. I guess probably the thing we know now is that the momentum that was built last season, the momentum that continued into the off season, which we felt so good about, the winter cycle. The training that went in, the spring practice, the summer cycle, the training camp was outstanding. It just felt like it was it was good and getting better every day, and that's continued into the season.
When you look at before we start talking about the Big Ten season, you look at this game against UConn and the massive effect that the special teams has had really throughout your time here at Michigan, certainly since Jay Harbaugh took over as special teams coordinator, but even last week, you get a block punt from Caden Colasar, you get the punt return by A.J. Henning. It's really been a weapon. How do you continue to raise the standard at which that special teams unit continues to play by?
Well, we were back at it today, working on all kind of things, but it's been really good. I mean, hard to remember any time we had a block punt and a punt return for a touchdown. Kickoff coverage is really good. You haven't seen it because it's been so many touchbacks. I think We've had 24 touchbacks in the last 25 kicks that Jake Moody's had. But that's not stopping the guys from really detailing everything and just. Across the board, just more detail, more things to improve on, and everybody attacking it. Special teams-wise, such a high number of guys that want to do. The line is long and getting longer every day. Joe Taylor now trying to aspire to be the new Caden Colasar, Keyshawn Harris doing the same thing. Jake Thaw, guys, Leon Franklin, Danny Hughes. It's such a long list. TJ Guy now wants to chomp it at the coach. I want to get on more special teams. Well, hey, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Have at it, But just a long list of guys that want to do. It's been it's good. It's fun. It's every day go to practice and watching guys trying to compete and hone their craft at whatever position they're playing and special teams.
Now, JJ's obviously had a couple of good games. Statistically, what does it look like for you on film?
Yeah, the same. It's been good, not just statistically.
Yeah.
It's just been good, and he continues back out there today like everyone. Blake Corum comes off a 5 touchdown day. He's out there today learning off the film, and offensive line continues to get better. Just can't talk enough about the receiver blocking. It's the best I've ever seen. A lot of credit to Ron Bellamy.
Has that been an emphasis this training camp and through the first 3 games? Because like you mentioned, it's been a long time since I've seen a group of receivers. Every once in a while you'll see 1 or 2, but it's the entirety of this group.
Yeah, an emphasis, sure, it was. There was a challenge made about 8-9 days into camp, and the guys just took it. Ronnie Bell, Cornelius Johnson, and Roman Wilson, Andrell Anthony, who also had a touchdown block for Blake Corum in the game. It was really just, it was one challenge, and then it was like, okay, we'll show you, coach, and it's it just keeps. Now it's to the point where, they.
Did you put that?
They're trying
out there?
Yeah, I did, but but it was, it wasn't, it didn't have to beg or plead. It's they've just taken taken the challenge, and they want to see how good they can get. And then, it's like anything, you see yourselves doing good, and then you want to even do better. The perimeter blocking has been outstanding. Huge improvement for our team. I mean, it's never been like this.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in the first 3 games. I mean, we pop a ball out there on the bubble screen and watch it go for 50 or 38, and what that does to the run defense. I mean, they've got to where they want to get an extra guy into the box. I mean, they've got to midpoint it. They've got to stay a little wider and protect against those screens. So when that option's open and the inside run game is, those are 2 things that really complement each other.
I know Cade went down. You mentioned it a little bit after the game. When might he be available again?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's I'm sure he'll be a fast healer, tough as nails type of guy. But he'll it's all going to be rehab for a little while here. And some rest and treatment.
Who slides into that number 2 spot?
It'll be. I mean, we're not going to go into the, what dealt with the quarterback, position and talked about that. But I mean, when it comes to, there's not a quarterback controversy of the backup, who the backup quarterback will be. I like 3 guys a lot. Davis Warren, Alan Bowman, Alex Orji. They're all getting reps today, all doing good, and the team has confidence in all 3. Could be a combination, but we'll excited about that group.
Trevor Keegan.
I think there had to be. I mean, it's got to be a Guinness Book of World Records of 7 quarterbacks completing a pass in a game.
I think it would be close. I know we were talking during the game and said, "Hey, I wonder if we're going to see an 8th," and then out goes an 8th.
Yeah.
And 7 guys completed passes.
And I think that is a Michigan record. Dave Abloff's looking at it. You go back into the 50s, the 40s when there was the wing T and running backs, 4 or 5 running backs are throwing a pass in a game. But I think 7 is the most in Michigan history. Anyhow, this could be the first in the history of football to have seven players complete a pass in a game.
It's it would seem like it to me. You'd have to go way back. But I wanted to ask you about Trevor Keegan. First of all, is he going to be available? I know he went out in the game. We thought he might come back. What's the status of for him?
Probable. I think he will be.
Okay. And then when he went out, we saw Giovanni El-Hadi go in there. He had that opportunity to go in early against Colorado State, again against UConn.
Yeah.
How have you seen him step into that role?
He's done good. He stepped in each of the ball games. He's a vastly improved player. It's fun to watch. Continue to try to get his pad level lower. But I mean, he's a strong man, and he's doing a heck of a good job. He's been a real bright spot for the offense.
Oluwatimi comes over as a Remington finalist. We've talked about him, a preseason All-American, and I've really enjoyed what he has added to that center position by being able to pull and the athletic ability, his power at the point of attack. Where is this offensive line in regards to, hey, we've got 5, 6, 7 guys, and, hey, we're ready to go into conference play? How comfortable you are with the depth of your offensive line?
I think it's good. Be better when Carson Barnhart is back and healthy. We'll see if that's this week or the next. But I think good, and be much better when Carson comes back.
What's the message to the team now that the non-conference is over? And you've mentioned this before. Hey, every one of these games is real. It means 2 wins because you get a win for yourself, and one of your at least Big East opponents, Big Ten East opponents, gets a loss. What's the mindset going into this, into the conference play?
Yeah, win the next game. That's always first and foremost. And secondly, the conference games count. I mean, toward the conference championship, and that's one of our goals. And that's we're excited about that challenge. I don't think there's a guy in the building who's not. I mean, judging by the way everybody was moving around today, they know what time it is.
Do you talk to them about defending that championship and how that target on your back is even bigger than it normally is here at Michigan because you are defending champs?
Yeah, we talked about that. There's a big target there. Whenever you're a defending champion, that it's going to be there.
Well, we'll get a chance to talk a little bit more about what Michigan faces in this game against Maryland, as well as the defense when we return. And tonight's show is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2022 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. This is Inside Michigan Football from Learfield. Welcome back to Inside Michigan Football. I do want to talk a little defense. Coming up a little bit later in the show, I've got Michael Barrett stopping by. And Coach, I know Mike is a guy that's played a number of different positions. Since he's been here, how have you seen him grow as a player and grow as a person?
He's always such a good guy, always such a focused player. Does whatever you ask him to do. And whether that's we had him at running back for a short time, we had him at safety, we had him at Viper. Now he's really settled in on special teams. He's been a great punt protector. We've picked up some fourth downs with him, him running the ball that way. But core team guy, and now he's worked his way into the rotation as a starting inside linebacker, doing a really good job at the wheel. He's made some key tackles as he did in this past ball game. One that could have got out on us, and he made the open field tackle. Like a lot of our guys, I mean, they're really tackling well right now, and not just. And if they're in open space, they're making the tackle, and then pretty quickly there's other tacklers that are right there to support the one guy. A lot of hats in the picture, but yeah, Mike's doing a great job. Trusted agent, known friend.
The secondary. I'd like to start there because it's as deep a position as you have. I mean, I look across the board on really every position. I asked you about the O-line depth, and it really feels like there's really solid depth everywhere. But at the defensive back position, you got Makari Page, R.J. Moten, Rod Moore. We've seen and heard from Caden Colasar in so many different ways. Mikey Sanders still. Then you get out to the corners. I mean, the depth in the secondary seems to be really good. And especially, I think it'll probably be needed against Maryland this week. They've got a lot of talent at wide receiver. What are your expectations entering the Big Ten season with your secondary?
That they're going to play good. And I would just say that, the secondary jumps out at you as they're really playing good. Went into the season, gone through these first 3 games, getting what we expected, which was we got 3 good corners, 3 starting type corners in Jamon Green and DJ Turner and Mike Sanders still. And we have 3 really quality starting safeties, and Rod Moore and R.J. Moten and Makari Page. And if there's one that I say, gosh, I'm really so proud of Makari Page. He has turned into a real hitter back there. He's always been athletic and always could cover ground and be in the right place, but that physical presence now. He's somebody that you would be head on the swivel if you were a receiver. I would think watching some of the tape. The play he made this past week was just textbook. How to hit a defenseless receiver legally,
right? Legally and safely.
Legally, safely, and make sure they don't catch the football.
When you see hits like that in the secondary, do you get excited on the sideline for the players and for your team?
I sure do. The hits in the secondary or some of the edge pressure that they've generated, improvements in open field tackling. I get excited about all that stuff. Jamon Green, he had a whale of a game last week, and he's shown that he can cover. DJ Turner's playing really good and physical, and so's RJ and Rod Moore. He's all those guys have really lived up to what we thought they would be.
Braden McGregor, you mentioned guys coming off the edge. We've seen Braden McGregor setting the edge in the run, getting after the quarterback. There was a play on Saturday where he shed a block and just absolutely swallowed up the running back. Where has he shown the greatest improvement?
In being able to get off a block and come to a point, control the block, see the ball carrier, pursue and make the tackle. Our defense, to me, that's what's standing out the most is getting off blocks, and you have guys now that can take on a block, set the edge, and make the tackle. We've seen Jalen Harrell do that probably the most. We've seen Upshaw do that, Braden McGregor do that, Iabi do that. It's been good. And 14 guys have gotten TFLs.
Yeah.
And we've had 18 TFLs. So 14 different guys have contributed. Mike Morse has 3. I think he's definitely got the most. But that's what I've seen. I like about our defense the most is we're getting off blocks and making tackles and not sticking on a block and watching a guy run by you. You got to be able to come to your point, deliver a blow, control the block, then find the ball carrier, then get off the block and make the tackle. And it's got to come in those. It's got to come in that succession. You can't come to your point, find the ball before you've delivered a blow or controlled the block. It's really got to come in those steps, and I'm really seeing our defense do that. Do it in a fundamental way and in a really talented way, and we're going to have that this week because I think everybody understands, including us, that the competition is stepping up dramatically starting this week with Maryland. They're really talented up front in the offensive line. They're really talented at the receiver position, the running back position, the quarterback position. It's going to be a great challenge for us.
What are some of the battles like in practice between guys like Braden McGregor and Ryan Hayes? Because I know Ryan is a guy that you've talked about before, Trevor Keegan, and we talk about their development as offensive linemen. It's kind of the same thing. Hey, you want to make that contact. You want to go through that entire process, get extension, and drive them so that they can't shed you. And now you've got a guy like Braden McGregor, Mozzie Smith. I've seen him do that, Mason Graham. What are the battles like in practice when O-line goes against D-line? What are you seeing?
Very competitive. Mozzie Smith is somebody that has the freakish strength, and it's going down. I can tell you, and we do those Michigan versus Michigan. We just get a taste of it. On Tuesday we get it on Wednesday as well. We don't neglect getting that competitive deal going. Does it get combative? Sometimes. Sometimes it does.
That's the nature of the game.
But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And the guys will be, they'll give it to a guy. Hey, that was good. Yeah, Mozzie is a freak. Jalen Harrell. He's does some freaky stuff. So does Braden McGregor, and Olu has been.
He'll mix it up, eh?
Yeah, he'll go right at it. And there's some stalemates. It's good. It's just good. It's good stuff. But it's iron sharpening iron, and our guys approach it that way. As long as their angle of approach is to make themselves and the other guy and in the end our team better. And that's the approach that our guys always take.
You mentioned some of the attributes of the Maryland offense. What do you see when you look at the Maryland defense early on in the week of preparation?
Yeah, multiple front, multiple coverage. They're trying to get tips, trying to get find edges. But very solid. They put together a extremely solid football team, and we're gonna have to play good. It's just gonna come down to that. We're gonna have to play good, and like any game, but especially now, especially since a good team going against a good team like Maryland, especially playing in the Big Ten opener. The race is on. Got to play good.
And it's homecoming. Homecoming this weekend. So there'll be a lot of people back in town. One last question before we let you go. I know Donovan Edwards wasn't able to go last week. How is he recovering from any of his issues?
Good. He's just doing him, and that's what I always tell Donovan Edwards. It's you just do you, Donovan, and he's working hard at it. I mean, no loss of the tremendous energy that he brings. Was in the training room at 8 a.m. and he was bouncing around doing his thing, and so I just hey, Donovan, do you? He's looking for all the opportunity he can, and he's doing good.
Well, Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck as you enter Big Ten season, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.